Today's podcast is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM. So if you're getting to know a girl and she comes out and it may take a lot out of her to finally express to you that she's gotten this STD from no will of her own, and boom, you gonna say nah, sweetie?
No, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm 85% sure that I'm gonna say, you know what? I appreciate you telling me that. I just feel like there's an easier circumstance out there for me than this.
I can't believe you. You are ridiculous. Oh my god.
So listen. So wait a minute.
Oh my god.
You think I'm wrong for that? Hey.
Jackson.
What's up, Juanita? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good today.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Kind of wanted to pick your brain on something real quick. Someone asked me today, but I figured why not just make it a podcast?
Hey, always the best way to go.
Let's talk about dating people with STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. And let's go ahead and put a trigger warning up as well.
You want
just in case.
With today, don't you?
Yeah, go ahead and put this trigger warning up that if this somehow triggers you in any area, to stop listening now, because we are talking about dating individuals with STDs. Sexually transmitted diseases. I don't want anyone who maybe received an STD through a relationship that they weren't aware that the person didn't tell them that this is triggering. So I apologize, but you can stop right now.
Very good. I always like when you put disclaimers out there. You're such a thoughtful and compassionate person. I love you with the love of the Lord.
I love you back with the same love of the Lord. Thank you so much.
All right. Now let's talk sex and nasty stuff in STDs.
Yeah. So, we were having a discussion here earlier, me and a group of girls, and they were talking about would they or wouldn't they date someone with an STD. And
what was the general consensus?
A lot of people said no, and I was like, yeah, they said no. I said the only thing that I feel like is killing people is the coronavirus, and that's not even an STD.
They said no, they would not date somebody with an STD.
They said not if they could avoid it, they wouldn't. So I was shocked by that.
Let me ask you, how many women were you having this conversation with?
Oh, it was just like 3 of us.
Okay. So the truth of the matter is 2 of them probably got HPV anyway. So they got a lot of nerve. Got a lot of nerve talking the way they're talking.
I can't stand you.
How you not gonna date somebody with STD and you don't even know if you got HPV or not?
Oh man, let me tell you something. I was so shook by that. I was just like, Well,
let me ask you, like you were surprised that they said that, or like you disagreed with them?
I did, because as you said, half of America, or more than half, has HPV anyway. I'm just one of those people who I just think that I got lucky. I didn't get any sexually transmitted disease to date, being 47. But a lot of them are just not something that I'm just going to be like, I wouldn't date that person over that.
Okay, I got you.
Like I see people date people with no jobs and who beat them, and but if he got a sexually transmitted disease, I can't be a part of that.
Listen, I think that's a tremendous analogy. But I think in fairness, we have to frame this properly. People don't go into relationships with people knowing that they're well, let me take that back. Because some people will knowingly date somebody without a job, which I do not understand for 1 second. But
I've seen it happen, darling.
Yeah, people do that all the time. But I don't think that people go into relationships with folks knowing that they are abusive. And to that same point, I don't think that people, if given an option of awareness, would go into a relationship with somebody knowing they had an STD. And then we have to classify what kind of STDs we're talking about whether or not we're talking about STDs that are highly transmissible, STDs that are curable, STDs that are, or STIs that are deadly, and things of that nature. That kind of, all that whole range and that whole spectrum gives us another point. The thing that I think that is very telling is that when you look at the fact that during the hours of 6:30 to 10 o'clock, which are primetime American TV hours, when people start running these very, very visible, vocal, and clear herpes commercials, that
Yeah,
a lot of people in
have
America
it.
have herpes,
Mm-hmm.
and that there are a lot of people out here who are dating people with herpes,
Right.
and they just don't, either they don't know it or they do know it and just have
Mm-hmm.
been using all the precautionary measures to not get it. So
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of one STD that I'm thinking, oh, of course I've never had it, but everything is controllable now. They have a pill for everything now. It's not like you're gonna die from anything.
right.
Would I say if I met someone today on the first date and they said, I just want to, go ahead and tell this to you, just going for transparency, everything on the table, that I have this sexually transmitted disease. I respect that.
Okay, you respect enough to stay in there with them, huh?
It just depends. It depends on how that connection is, if I'm going to stay or not. I'm not, ideally, when I think about it, I don't want an STD, but I mean, sometimes things happen for a reason. I think that we're attracted to people, and I don't know if I have a real strong connection with someone when I meet them and they tell me that they have an STD. I don't know if I'm going to be that person to be like, oh, well, that threw everything out. I can't get past that. I don't know if I'll be that person.
Yeah. Well, I know. You know who is that person?
Who?
Me. Shoot. I don't know. Listen, especially listen,
I can't stand
especially
you. I can't stand you. I can't stand you. I cannot stand you.
listen. Look,
Oh my God.
especially if they tell me that on the first date. That's not first date conversation for
I
me.
don't I don't think anyone's gonna say that on the first date. I think that these are some things that come out once you realize that this may be something, this
Right.
relationship may be something.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, at that point, I don't know if I'm willing to walk away because of an STD at that
Okay.
point.
So let me ask you this. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
you have sex with a man who has herpes,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know. You didn't.
Uh-huh.
He didn't disclose that before you had sex. He tells you, like, after you guys have been having sex, because at the time he wasn't having an outbreak, which means that the herpes was not transmissible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then you find out like a month or two later, it's like, hey, sweetie, like, listen, I want to talk to you about something. I can't have sex with you this week because I have herpes and I'm having an outbreak. And when I have outbreaks, it's transmissible, and I don't want you to, become susceptible to that. Would that color your opinion of where your relationship is going with that person?
So, I mean, it's hard for me to kind of put myself in a situation to where this is me in the story, because I don't have sexual relationships with someone without thinking it through. So if I decide we're going to move this relationship to the next level, then we're going to get tested, because I need all the information.
Okay,
So
so
that is your opportunity to tell me
let me
what's up.
let me stop you right there. Hold.
Hmm.
So you mean to tell me
Hmm.
that you have only had sex with people that you have both been mutually tested before you had sex?
Right.
Get off the. If you don't get off my phone right now.
Well, I mean, unlike you, I'm not what do you call it, promiscuous. So yeah, yeah.
Okay. We take
we
jabs, huh?
yeah, we take the test
No,
because I'm
no. I
not
said we're taking.
young.
No, I said we're taking jabs, huh? You taking jabs?
Oh no, I'm just saying that I'm not young. I'm not some, 20, late 20, even early 30-year-old woman in this game coming out dating for the first time. I understand that there are risks out there, and I have kids. I want to see my kids get married. I want to see my kids have children. So yeah, that's on the forefront of my mind, that I have to be responsible in everything that I do. So yeah, we have to get tested.
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, I still don't appreciate you taking a personal shot at me though.
No,
You know?
no, 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 no. I mean, I understand that you and I are on two different. You've been single, so you can't afford to get tested every 400 women you sleep with.
You see how you
I
doing?
get it.
See what you
I get
you see
it.
what you're doing. You see what you're doing. You look. You got me.
That's a lot of damn
Whole,
tests right
you got me
there.
like a whole out here, and you
Yeah,
say you.
I understand that's a lot of tests. That's a lot of money.
Mm,
I get it. I get it. But
that's real.
yeah, I don't know. Do you ever sit down and think, man, I've been with a lot of women. What if I have something?
I get a full scope test. Well, I get an HIV test twice a year.
Right.
Once in my regular physical and once at the local county health office that
Yeah.
takes about like 15 minutes to do.
Yeah. You know what gave me a respect for sexually transmitted diseases? I
What?
don't know why, but when I was getting divorced, that that is what stayed on my mind the whole time because when I was getting a divorce, it was, infidelity, and of course another person was involved and, supposedly a kid. I kept thinking was, wait a minute. So you out here in these streets
Mm-hmm.
raw dogging people and then coming back. That was something that blew my mind on a level that was so hurtful that I will never be able to explain. So I've always been very aware that my health is important to me. So
Right.
when that happened, like a lot of my anger and disgust with that situation for my marriage came from that that ability for people to just take someone's
Life in their own.
life in their
Yeah.
hands and kind of do what they will
Yeah. Yeah.
and not think that it couldn't affect anyone. And I remember, after, being married for, 17 years, going to get an HIV test when I was walking away from my marriage, going to get an HIV test and then coming back. I think I went back 3 times. I went back every 3 months,
Right.
you know. And then finally, when I was like, and I think I went for a year and a half just to make sure because I'm one of those people.
Right. Right. You are one of those people. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those hypochondriac people like, oh, this could have killed me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right. Very
So
dramatic.
so I yeah, very, very dramatic. So I remember feeling like I was raped, like something happened to me that I had no control over.
Right. Right. Right.
And if I am then, burdened with something like a STD because of something that had nothing to do with me, I was going to be so super pissed and probably even take him to court.
Right. See, you were dealing with a different set of concerns than I would be dealing with because you were just you and your husband out here raw dogging. I don't live that life. But
Yeah.
yeah, so you had to be concerned with that,
Yeah.
say what you will about my personal habits that you
No, no, no.
that you have
I
also
understand you.
stated, by the way. I'm just not out here slanging and banging and raw dogging.
Hmm.
I'm not really doing that. That's not my cup of tea. So
I think that, I'm more concerned with individuals who have been put in that situation
listen,
through no fault of their own
look,
and just
you
wanting
wouldn't
to have someone.
listen. Don't try to preach to me the accountability piece. You wouldn't date a man with a damn bankruptcy on his credit report, and that might be from no fault of his own. How you gonna tell me to date a woman with a permanent piece of luggage that she can't never get rid of? Man.
Let me tell you something.
I mean, listen. I'll never say never. The world is. I would have
Yeah.
never said that I would date a woman, who had been with other women. But there's so many women that have been with other women that you starting to, listen. I've said a lot of things in my life.
Yeah.
I said, oh, I don't like women who wear.
There are a lot of men that have been with a lot of other men too.
I used to say things like I would never date a woman who wears weaves and extensions. I don't like that. I like that. But you know how many women wear weaves and extensions? You would pretty much you limiting the hell out of your pool if you start talking like that. You know what I mean? I've said things
Yeah.
like I don't know if I really want to engage or involve myself with women who have been with other women. That's not a sense of normalcy that I want to have in my relationship and in my life. And once again, you narrowing your pool even more so when you start talking like that. So
You know what I appreciate about women though? You know what I appreciate about them? At least they're honest. A woman, 9 times out of 10, she'll tell you if she's been with another woman. A woman.
no, they won't. No, they don't. They
They
don't.
they will.
Listen,
They will. A
well,
man?
hold on, wait,
Oh,
hold
a
on.
man
I'm
ain't gonna tell
sorry.
you
I'm
nothing.
sorry. Hold on. Okay, well then don't tell me. Then don't tell me what women will disclose. They don't just volunteer like, "Hey, I just want you to know I've dated women in the past." You've had. Listen, I've had
Oh
women
no.
hem and haw around that in a jokey kind of capacity, and I've had to find out in other kinds of ways.
No. I'm saying that I would assume, like, sometimes we're pretty
You know,
we're pretty
I-
on the same
yeah,
wavelength
not this,
on certain things. So
not this
I
time.
was shocked.
Listen, it's almost as if it's if you ask me, can I date a woman with a job or without a job? What you think I'm gonna say?
I
Right.
mean, I get
So
that though.
if you ask me, am I going to date uh, preferably a black woman or another woman culturally? What you think I'm gonna say? Okay, all
I
right, right.
get that
But
though.
you don't get when I say if you could date a woman with herpes or a woman without herpes, which would you do?
No, I don't, and that
Right.
wasn't the question. I said, would you date a
Oh,
great
Nash is a great
person with
person.
an
Nash is a great
STD?
person.
Like, hey, she's a
Yeah,
great person. Yeah, she's a great person. That only thing that's on her thing is an
right,
STD.
right. I mean, listen, I look,
Yeah.
maybe I
Back in the day, HIV would have scared many people
HIV
from not
still scares me. I don't
getting
know. I'm not listen. Most people not taking that
I
goddamn
was
Magic
gonna
Johnson
say,
cocktail. Like, listen, hey, I'm trying to be keep it middle of the road when we talk about things like herpes. A lot
I
of
don't
people have
want
had
HIV. I mean,
STDs they've
if
overcome.
someone told me, um, I dismiss
HIV
it.
still very much scares me. I mean, I don't think we're all out here with access to this Magic Johnson cocktail stuff that people have been taking. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Listen, I was trying to keep it middle of the road by talking about things like because herpes.
Herpes and
I've known people to
HPV.
be in relationships and date folks with herpes. It's quite manageable with medication.
Hmm.
Uh, it just wouldn't be something that I would think I would want to be in a position to deal with. But I can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I would think about herpes and maintaining a relationship like that a hell of a lot sooner than I would somebody with HIV. That's a fact. Like, we don't even got to talk about that. Like, hey,
Yeah. I have a friend in California who she's HIV positive and she's married. Her husband is HIV negative. They got married after she was diagnosed. And I don't know, when I think about before before if someone would have asked me before knowing her and him, I would have been like, hell no. But because I know her and I realize that there are just really good, genuine people out here who get diseases through no fault of their own. And this man, he looked past that and they have this beautiful marriage, they have this beautiful relationship. So I think about me being a person who could meet someone with her spirit and her general attitude in life. I mean, she's just a great person. I would have to think, and say, well, maybe I wouldn't turn my nose up to it and say no. I put it this way, be I would hope that I would have some
yeah,
humanity
right.
to
Do
look
you
past
hear how
that
you
and say,
framing this when you talk about turning your nose
I
up at it
understand.
or framing someone with humanity and someone's spirit? Listen, we are talking
I hear
about
you.
HIV. Man, don't try to lay some goddamn
Hate
guilt trip on me because I don't want to date somebody with
hate
HIV.
you.
Listen, I think that is a beautiful
Hate you.
story about your friend in California. I have
Eh,
questions. I have plenty of questions, but I can tell you what I'm not going to be done. I'm not going to be swayed on that particular thing. All right?
Yeah.
Listen, this is like, man, like, no, man, no, no. What are we talking about here? Like, I think that's a very unique set of circumstances. If given the opportunity, I'm like, hey, look here. Man, really?
Cause you
I call her to what?
circumstances that would cause me to consider, walking away or staying. Just that particular. I mean, I love that couple. I love her. I love him, and I think it's such a beautiful thing. And I think that relationship is nothing but God. It's God blessed, because a lot of people wouldn't do. A lot of men wouldn't do what he did, and a lot of women wouldn't have, been as transparent as her. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. That's all you. That's all.
So for
I won't
me,
and I won't comment on it because you did what people do when they want to have an opinion that is unchecked. They start talking about God. So I'm gonna let you have that one.
you know what? You're right about that,
Yeah,
and I
you start
apologize. But
God into
I
it
will
like I
say
can't say
that,
nothing against
you know,
God blessed sort of energy. Like,
yeah.
if you don't get out of here, no, man, no, no, no. Shoot.
Oh my goodness. So I'll just say that, I definitely hope, I would hope that my heart is
Look
open
there, you know,
to
talking about your heart being open.
anything.
Listen,
I love
look,
that.
I ain't
Oh,
worried
I want to
about
be a
my
good
heart as much
person.
as
I
I'm
want to
worried
be a
about
good
my immune
person.
system. Okay.
You're right. You're right. Because when you think about that,
Right.
hey,
Listen, man, I
hey,
think that
you're
everybody,
right.
I think a lot of times people in relationships have to ask themselves this very critical question. Is there an
Hmm.
easier circumstance out there for me than what I'm dealing with than this? And not just as it
I got you.
pertains to STDs or STIs, but also as it pertains to everything.
Anything.
Like, do I want to date a
Yeah,
woman with no job? Do I want to date a man that cannot have children? Do I want to date
I do.
do I want to date somebody who has mental illness? You understand what I'm saying? These things that, whether we like
Yeah,
to acknowledge it or not, they take an extra level of compassion, an extra level of willingness to do an extra layer of things. And I don't always have the energy to pick up the extra layer for everything. Do I want to date this woman with 3 children already or 4 children already? You understand?
yeah,
And it doesn't, and you can
yeah.
try to spin it how you want to about, and it's blessed by God's love and God's grace, and it
Oh
is blessed
gosh.
by the special compassion. Like, hey man, you can keep all that goofy shit to yourself. I have to live this life. Okay. And sometimes you
Yeah.
have to ask, is it worth it? Like, so to me, that woman would have to be damn near perfect.
Oh my goodness. I can't with you. So consensus is you're a big fat no.
See how you doing me? I'm a big fat no.
You're a
I'm
big fat
sure
no.
I have dated a woman with HPV. The statistics say I have. You know what I mean? I don't have it. I don't have it, but I'm sure I've dated a woman with it. I wouldn't be surprised if I'd gone out with a woman who had herpes. Like apparently
Yeah.
Valtrex stock is going through the roof, and that's not because people don't have it. That means
Right.
because a lot of people must have it. Okay,
Right.
but would I willingly go into situations like that if I had a choice? Probably not. That's one of the things that I put on my dating profile.
I
You
can't
have to be
stand
damn
you.
near.
I can't
Come on, man.
stand you.
Cut me some slack, man. You got to be damn near perfect and rich.
So we're just gonna end it with so we've had a great time tonight. We learned that you not dating nobody with no damn STD.
Not under the circumstances which you have laid out. No, I would not.
Yeah, and I just it's all about the heart with me.
Right, right. Well, I'm sure it's a lot of fine men down at the clinic who will teach, who are working on.
I can't stand
No,
you. I
I'm
can't
sure there are a lot of
stand you.
decent Christian men down at the health clinic that are, mentoring those who are
Mhm.
coming into a new awareness about their status. So I think you should go down there and find you a date.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Those are good character men.
Oh gosh. You know what? You make me sick on so many levels.
Listen, I'm just listen. You have obviously decided that this is a good way to widen your dating pool, and I'm in support of that. You know,
I'm just saying that I don't wanna be a judge of people and
Babe,
situations and circumstance. I just
what
kind of
are you judging? What are you judging? That's not about
people,
your own.
people.
It's about your own.
Some people have circumstances they had no control over.
I don't
You
listen.
know.
I don't even want to get that involved to know what the circumstance that brought you
Here
to
he go.
is
Here
to
he go.
my business. I don't
Mhm.
care how you got it. Listen, let me tell you something. The police don't care how you got the stolen bag of money in your trunk. They just care that it's there. Am I right? They
Hey,
pull your I
let
judge
let's
you
sign off.
for
I
the
can't believe
circumstance
you.
of how it
I
got. Are you looking
can't
at my face with that?
believe you. I can't believe
I
you.
said what I said.
Oh my goodness. We're gonna hear people clowning us for this one.
I don't care. Let them clown them. Listen, I will only accept any kind of criticism and clowning from people who are living the life that they are chastising me for not participating in.
That's fair enough. That's fair
Yeah,
enough.
it is. Like, people get real. You included, get real kind of righteous about the idea about doing things until the ball's actually in your court to do it yourself.
You're probably right. I mean, it sounds really good for me to say that I would,
Yeah,
given the
knowing
situation. I would
knowing that
hope that
you're
I
Listen,
not knowing that I'm not. Given the situation, I hope that my heart is as big as my mind and I'm able to.
Oh, hell, I don't want to hear that old goofy crap. You a
I
lie.
hate you.
You a lie
hate
to
you.
Tuesday, didn't you? I don't want to hear your mouth tonight. Get off my
I
line.
hate you. Bye.